He's a 3-time undefeated national champion and a 2 years ago, whatever that is, coach of the year in Division II, coach of the year. One coach of the number 2 ranked Wisconsin Parkside. As you know him, Nick Becker. How you doing, Nick?
Good. Thanks for the intro. Can you hear me all right?
Oh, yeah.
Also a state champion. We can't forget that.
Oh, yeah.
There you go, Teague. Teague's got the history and the knowledge, the wrestling IQ.
Is that a bracket that Teague should dive into, Nick? One of the old hard. He's been doing this little deep dive of brackets from old history ones that are like really, really tough. Was your bracket any good?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to say it was pretty tough. A couple tough years there.
That year could be deep dive worthy because that was the run of 7 Rapids wrestlers in a row, and people didn't like Rapids because they were good. And I think for a fleeting moment, everyone in the Kohl Center was a Nick Becker fan.
Did you wrestle a Rapids guy in the final?
Yep, Casey Anderson.
What was the score?
I don't remember. He took me down right away. I remember that. Maybe it was like 6-2, 5-2.
5-2.
Right.
I got the bracket pulled up.
You have the bracket.
That's so efficient. Well done. Well done, T. Well, Nick, thank you for joining us today. We were obviously down there last Friday for your duel against Whitewater, and we haven't spoken to you in a while, so we thought, maybe we should recap kind of the Parkside Rangers and how things are going. Let's start with the duel. Yeah. You guys won the sake bottle now for the 3rd year in a row. So the first year you lost it, and then you've won 3 straight now. Can you talk about the tradition of the sake bottle, and then how you thought your team looked on Friday night?
Yeah, well, first off, thanks, guys, for obviously highlighting us and Whitewater coming down and putting us on the Rokfin channel. Really appreciate that. But I think it's a really important duel for our community in the area down here as well. Like, obviously Whitewater's maybe 50 minutes, an hour away. So pretty decent environment. As far as our team goes, I mean, we up and down, I would say, we wrestled pretty well. A couple sloppy finishes in some matches, and, a couple matches I guess we wish we could have had back. But, overall, I thought we were putting points on the board. We were aggressive, which I like to see in the majority of the matches. It was good duel. Whitewater, obviously they probably didn't have their best lineup, what they might put in postseason, but they got depth on their team, and really their team always comes to fight, right? So it's always a good duel to toe the line against them, and a school that's obviously really close to us geographically.
Yeah, you guys had Jake, I remember, mentioned it to me. You guys had a really good turnout for that duel. The gym was rather full. You got monster bleachers, and they were pretty filled up. What for the team though? Obviously, you said you wish you had some matches back, things like that. But maybe not even just this duel alone, but in general, is there like anything you say to the guys of like? Like people say like they preach score. Some coaches preach like score points before matches, or some coaches like preach have fun or bonus points or whatever it is. Is there anything that you guys kind of have as like I don't want to maybe call it like a motto or something with the team, or something that you kind of try to just bring up every now and then to them before they compete?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we preach scoring points, right? I mean, that makes it fun for them as wrestlers, putting points on the board. Really kind of philosophy-wise, it's always been score early, score often here, right? We want to be a team that's always being aggressive, pushing the pace forward, getting in wrestling positions. And, I think when we wrestle free, we talk about that a lot, wrestling free, wrestling loose. When we do that and get in wrestling positions, we usually come out on top of, whether it's a finish on the leg or scramble, right? I feel like all of our guys up and down the lineup have pretty high IQs of wrestling, right? So if they do get in bad situations, they can wrestle out of them. So I guess to your question, yeah, obviously we preach scoring points, but at the same time, being loose, wrestling free, might not always look pretty, but got to find a way to win.
For sure. And then that kind of final thing I had, one of my questions I wanted to ask about was, you guys obviously went to Midwest Classic. You won it, which is, we've talked about it a few times, but that is incredibly tough tournament. I think no matter the division, when it comes to just like looking at everything, that is the toughest tournament in the country, regardless of division, right? Just like looking at who's all there, sort of thing for Division II, like if you called it a pound for pound or whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
But toughest tournament in the country. You guys won it. It's like a mini nationals. And Jalen Spuler won the Midwest Classic. But if you look at the latest rankings that just came out, I believe yesterday, he is no longer in those rankings. I believe he was up to like number 2 at the time. But the new face, another Warcheck, Easton Warcheck, is now nationally ranked 11th, I believe. So if you could talk about the team's performance you saw, I know it was a while ago, but it's worth noting from Midwest Classic and having Easton now, it looks like in the lineup for the foreseeable future, I would have to assume.
Yeah, Jalen suffered an injury, season-ending injury, so he's already on the road to recovery. He's going to be out here another 6 months. So obviously, kind of next guy up, right? So, Easton was competing at 57 the majority of the year, but wasn't close. Not a far drop for him to get to 49. He's been looking healthy there. So, it's good that we have depth in our room, and, it's what I've wanted to build over these past couple of years, but it definitely sucks, losing a guy like Jalen who just had, won the Midwest Classic really in dominating fashion. I mean, I think, let's say 4 out of the 5 matches he had bonus points and against some high-level competition. So, overall, that day those 2 days was, a good benchmark to see where we're at as a team. And, it's nice to win that tournament, right? But we want our best wrestling to come in March here and late February. So, we've put the trophy in the trophy case, right? It's cool that we won it, but obviously we got to move on and, continue to get better. We had, really good individual performances there. And really, since then, we've had a lot of great individual performances from that. Even, National Duels was a good weekend for some of our guys a couple weeks ago, and now we're heavy in our conference schedule.
Yeah. National Duels, absolutely. You guys look strong there. You dropped the one duel to Central Oklahoma. What was the mindset of the team after dropping that duel? Were you guys able to quickly just forget and bounce back, or did you have to let them cool down for a little bit? I think that was the last duel of the night, maybe. But how did you guys? How did you make sure the team responded? Because they did.
Yeah, I think we had one more. I think we had a duel against King after Central Oklahoma. So it was you got to have short-term mindset, right? And, yeah, it sucks. We lost. We had some guys obviously take a few L's, split 5-5 matches there. So it wasn't within reach, right? It's wrestle the duel again. Maybe we come out on top of that one, but it is what it is. So, we got a lot of veterans on our team. It's a lot of times I don't have to say too much, right? They take a loss and they respond themselves. Obviously you give them words of encouragement, but I have faith in our guys and our team. Like after a loss, they're going to respond how they should. We preach about that a lot. Not kind of giving up on the backside. That's conversations we have throughout the whole year. Is it's lose a match on the front side, you got to be able to respond on the backside, and it's no different than a national tournament, or national duels.
For sure. I think Jake had a question for you, so I want to give him a shot to do that. I know Jake and T both did. So.
Oh yeah, this kind of a little off topic, but still kind of pertaining to the whole season thing. A lot of those Division I guys, and I'm sure for D2 and D3, it's a long season, a lot of injuries. I know you guys had a couple injuries. Do you like the length of season? I know some people like the idea of maybe a spring semester sport, shortening it. There's just so many injuries, such a long, grueling season. As a head coach, curious of your thoughts on a shorter season. Do you like the length of season and just the overall health of your guys and training throughout the season?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's been talked about at conventions and things like that. I think at the end of the day, whatever Division I does, Division II will follow suit. Me personally, I like that idea. They talked about maybe like a December 1st start time for practices, and then competition wouldn't start till the first of the year. So, wrestlers got it pretty rough, right?
Long season.
They got Thanksgiving they miss usually or can't enjoy it as much, and then obviously Christmas. For us, we're fortunate where our spring break is the week after our D2 tournament, but I know every institution isn't like that. So sometimes wrestlers are missing Thanksgiving break, Christmas break, obviously then spring break. So as a student, I think it would definitely help the overall student experience, and maybe even some higher grade point averages. Shortening up the season. And really I think the deciding factor for me, like why I'm in favor of it, and it's more just of me being an avid wrestling fan, is there was a stat, I don't know, I was at a convention a couple years ago, and they said that hockey was always on like the same TV schedule as like March Madness, so NCAA basketball. And they moved their season back like a month, and their viewership over these past like 4 or 5 years since it's happened has increased like 30%. So, as wrestling fans, we always talk about how do you grow the sport, right? And as wrestlers, I think our biggest event is probably the NCAA Division I, championships, most viewed event. So if we could, push our season back, if we could push our national tournament back, get away from March Madness and, all the TV deals there, maybe it would bring some more light to our sport and highlight, our superstars. So, I'm all for that. I think there's a lot of pros to it, a lot more pros than cons for sure.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, that's definitely a hot topic. I haven't even thought about that in a while.
It was getting some steam. I thought it was going to happen. Like when I was at the convention a couple years ago, I want to say they said like 92% of Division I coaches were in favor of it. So
really?
Yeah, there's like a lot of red tape, obviously, through the NCAA and all that to make it happen.
Are you a fan of do you think there should be a dual meet national tournament? I know the big news with the national duels for Division I sounds like it might be back in some sort of way there. But do you think there should be like a separate, like track has indoor national championship and outdoor national championships? Do you think wrestling would serve well to have like a dual meet national championship and an individual?
I do, but to be honest with you, I don't think that's ever going to happen. I think it's fun. Dual meets are fun, right? Like it's easy for fans to follow. I mean, I'm not telling you guys you already know, right? But and like dual meets, I feel like there's a lot. Maybe I could be wrong on this, but when momentum is going in a dual meet, like it can totally change the path of a duel on paper, right? At least for me, I see a lot more upsets or. You get a big pin, crowd goes nuts, and then the next guy goes out there, it's kind of has an off match. So the crowd definitely has a lot more to play in it. I would like to see it in Division I, but I just think with how their format is set up and how they qualify for nationals with an RPI system and, strength of schedule, basically the top 33, right? Like there's not much incentive for coaches to go to it in November, like a lot of them are saying. So I get it, but I also get, hey, let's go compete. It's good for the sport.
Yeah, there's that too. T, you're sitting there patiently. You look eager.
Yeah, not really a lot of college talking from me right now.
Yeah,
I've been pretty quiet on that front this episode, but. Nick, again, this isn't totally Parkside related, as I consume a lot of my Parkside content through the lens of Caden Henchel's YouTube channel. It's flashy. Yeah, it's flashy. It really caters to my attention span. I absolutely love it. I guess going off of what you said, and it reminded me of an interview I had with an Eau Claire wrestler a few years back about what you said with wrestling fast and loose, and scoring points sometimes goes along with that. Do you think maybe a mental block for a lot of wrestlers or part of wrestling fast and loose is getting rid of this innate fear of not being scored on? Yeah, when you wrestle a little more openly, you do kind of give yourself up to that, maybe a little bit, but I'm just wondering your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think when you wrestle free, and I guess another word for it is relaxed, right? I think you're wrestling more off instincts too. I don't know. For me as a competitor and seeing our guys who compete at a high level, you never know what's going to happen in a match, right? Like a lot of times you get in that moment, it's like, oh shit, I got to wrestle out of this position. You know, a lot of times you might never drill that in the room, never practice it in the room, never have broken it down, but you're just using your instincts and feel as a wrestler. And I think here at Parkside, we throw a lot at our guys, right? Technically, it's not like we have one set style of how we're going to wrestle. You know, all of our guys are a little unique in that aspect, and wrestling free, right? Like when you say that, yeah, you're probably opening up yourself to get scored on. But at the same time, like I'm a true believer in like your best defense sometimes is your offense, right? If you're in on a guy's legs, they can't be in on yours. So, you know, that's kind of my motto in that aspect.
Yeah.
Love it. I have a part 2 for you. This is not college related, but outside of your state finals match, what is your favorite Wisconsin state finals match that you remember watching?
Oh, geez. I would probably have to say my brother Craig. That would have been in 2005 maybe. I had 2 older brothers. My brother Brad made the finals twice, took second as a junior and a senior, and then my brother Kyle took second as a junior and then placed as a senior. And so Craig was kind of the first one in our family to obviously win the state title. So it was you know, sentimental value there. But yeah, I'd say that. My dad wrestled. He never won state, but he'll say that state was tougher back then because there's one division.
Yeah.
And
that's an argument to have, you know.
You think smack talk at the Becker family like reunions or get-togethers has to go crazy?
Sometimes it does, yeah. But it's usually not over wrestling. It's like over a game of cards or something stupid.
I have one last question for you. We've talked about it before. Just one last one before we can let you go. But we ever going to see Nick Becker come out of retirement?
Yeah, maybe if you 3-2 do too. Yeah.
If I come out of retirement, you will.
Yeah, maybe. I do gotta do something with Mulvaney yet. You know, I need to square up on that bet. So, you know, you guys got a big cheese event, like throw me on a match or something, folk style. You know, that'd be. I wrestle folk style pretty much every day, so that's my cup of tea right now. But I'd wrestle freestyle too.
Someone did put on Facebook, they were asking Nate if you were coming out of retirement with your little weight cut article.
Somebody put that on there?
Someone said, are you going to wrestle or something?
Oh, I saw that actually. That was Shane. Yeah, Shane did in my article. Yeah, I made a joke about that.
Nick, do you have this kind of another similar question to Teague? Do you have a match that you wrestled throughout any part of your career that like is your favorite match to wrestle or one that really stuck out?
My first national title.
Well, my national titles are probably pretty boring. I think I got taken down right away in 2 of them. But I had a match here at Parkside. It was we used to host these events called like the Ranger Duels, and I don't know, I was just off competition. Like I don't know, maybe I was in the right headspace, but I think the match ended up being like 29-14, and like I was giving up a couple takedowns. Like I can't remember how many. It was probably like 3 or 4, but I was playing like the takedown cut 'em game, and I don't know, something like flipped in my head like during the match is like, you know what, I'm going to deep waters, dark waters here. Like I was completely exhausted, probably the most exhausted I've ever been after a wrestling match, but I was just like, you know what, I'm just going after it, and it's kind of just very high pace, and you got to have an opponent too that does the same. So it was kind of a fun match. There's a lot of scrambles, a lot of takedowns, and yeah.
29-14 with 2-point takedowns and the old knees.
That's crazy.
That's a heck of a match.
2-point takedowns too. 3-point near fall, the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, I'd probably say that one, right? I mean, I couldn't even tell you the guy's name. I know he was from Indianapolis.
Just a brawl.
It was just one of those ones where it's like, yeah, I probably had more takedowns in that match than any other match.
Yeah.
Nonstop action.
You and Craig, when you were, when you were in college and he was, graduated a couple years obviously before you, but and he was coaching you. Did you guys get into some big brawls in the practice room and stuff, just like competing?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, we wrestled quite a bit when I was in college. Um,
Fair enough.
a lot of individual work. I mean, we were like in a lot with our guys still here. Like it's like, all right, let's just get in the room and wrestle. We'll get in some positions. If we get stuck in them, we'll break them down. But otherwise, it was like 45 minutes to an hour. Of just going in there. It's not like you're going 110% until you get into like a scramble that you don't want to lose, and then you start picking it up.
A little extra.
Yeah, a little extra crossface or something. But yeah, we wrestled a lot, and not only did he wrestle with me, but he wrestled with a lot of the guys on the team, and we liked getting in the room and being mat rats.
I think the first time I remembered watching you wrestle in a while, I still remember this, was you came. I don't know if you do, but you came in. This was before you were the head coach. You came in over Christmas break, and we were practicing in the maybe playing handball on the mats in the field house. And Van Grohl and Craig and everyone were there, and you sat down on the mat to like stop in and say hi to everyone. And Craig was like, "Come on, like throw your shoes on, you're wrestling." And you're like, "No." And obviously he got you to wrestle, and you guys started with a spar, and it turned into like a little bit of a hard spar, a fun spar. But I just remember it was before you got down to your fighting weight and stuff, and you were just breathing heavy. I haven't wrestled in like 2 years.
I was probably on that like quick trip sales diet, or the gas station sales diet. Fast food, quick trip, get wings after work.
I just watched that. I was like, man, this guy is really good at wrestling, but right now,
I didn't have a gas tank.
Yeah, no. But what do you guys? Last thing, I guess, for you. I said that a couple times. Doing the classic coach thing. Last sprint. What do you? What's the look ahead for you guys? What do you guys got coming up here in the future?
Yeah, like I kind of said, we're in our conference schedule here. So we got Northern State on Saturday afternoon at 5. They're always tough. They're well coached, so they might not have a lot of guys in the national rankings, but up and down they're pretty solid. So we got to come ready to go for that one. And then after that, we hit the road for 2 duels against Mankato and St. Cloud. So both good teams, a lot of good individual matchups. We're looking forward to the next three duels here, and then we really got 2 home duels after that to wrap up our conference schedule, and then regionals and nationals. So coming down to the wire here, it's a fun time, and obviously other than that, it's a lot of watching high school wrestling right now too. There's a lot of good guys in the state still uncommitted, and trying to continue to build our team and keep the depth going. I want our backups here to be able to step in and be All-Americans, kind of like in Easton Warcheck. So a lot of that is us getting out and recruiting and building relationships. And, we're off to a pretty good start in that aspect, but, we're looking to add some more guys yet.
How do you kind of, you're talking about that, building that depth. How do you get the, when you have a really good team and you have number 1 in the country and you have number 3 in the country and 4, et cetera, how do you pitch to some of those guys that like they're really good in high school and they want to come in and they want to be the guy right away? Are you like, hey, if you come in, you might not be able to tell them that they're going to be the guy right away. You have a guy that's a 2-time All-American that they're coming in behind or something. So how do you kind of talk to them about like your time will come sort of thing, or like what's that kind of, I don't want to say sales pitch, but what's that conversation like?
Yeah, I don't really like the word pitch, right? I don't like the salesman aspect of recruiting, right? And at the end of the day, it's the individuals. Like, yeah, we can be there to help these guys when they come in, right? And we do, I think, do a pretty good job of developing our guys and getting the most out of them. But it's got to be self-driven. So, that's probably more the message when I'm talking with the recruits. Like, hey, anything is possible, right? Like, even if we do have a 2-time All-American, there's no – everyone has an equal opportunity to earn the spots on our roster. And, obviously some are more competitive than others. But I do think it's important that you have those guys in the room too, right? Like if you're going to a school where your workout partners aren't pushing you or, not at that level, it's going to be pretty tough to have success for yourself. So I think, young guys coming in, whether true freshmen or redshirt freshmen, if they have an upperclassman that's a hammer, I think at the end of the day it's good for them. I mean, look at Penn State. I mean, they took third at Southern Scuffle with basically their second with their backup team. So we need that. We need the same. We need depth, and like this year, for an example, we had lost 2 All-Americans due to surgery, one in June and then one more recently, and we've had guys filling those weights and are doing a heck of a job, and we're still. I believe that we can compete for a national title still. So, got to have the depth.
I think the coaches think that too. You guys are ranked second in the country right now. Obviously, you got regionals and nationals ahead, so see where the chips lay at the end of the year. But yeah. But also, I just want to say thanks for taking the time. I know you spent a lot longer than what we talked about, how long you might stick around for. So I just want to say thank you and letting us take some time out of your afternoon here.
Anytime. I appreciate you guys, and thanks again for coming down last week. And last plug, home duel Saturday, 5:00. If anyone wants to come, should be a good crowd. It's our alumni night too, against a good team. So thanks, guys.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
See you guys. Bye-bye.